The silence around women's intimate lives after 60 is one of society's most damaging conspiracies. While male vitality is celebrated at every age, women's desires seem to vanish from polite conversation the moment we blow out our 60th candle. Welcome to Wise Advice for Elderly. So grateful to have you here. Today, we're shattering that silence with 5 uncomfortable truths about intimacy after 60 that nobody discusses, but every woman desperately needs to hear. These aren't feel-good platitudes or medical disclaimers. These are research-backed realities that could transform how you think about your own desires and possibilities. In today's reflection, we'll explore the hidden truths that could liberate you from shame, expand your understanding of pleasure, and remind you that your intimate life doesn't end at retirement age. Before we dive into these life-changing truths, please take a moment to click the like button, subscribe to Wise Advice for Elderly, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss conversations that honor your complete humanity as a mature woman. Truth number 1. Your capacity for pleasure often increases after 60. The first truth nobody talks about is perhaps the most revolutionary. Many women discover their capacity for pleasure actually increases after 60, not decreases. This flies in the face of everything we've been told about aging and desire. According to research published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine, 47% of women over 60 report experiencing more satisfying intimate encounters than they did in their younger years. Dr. Barry Komisarik's groundbreaking neurological research at Rutgers University shows that the brain's pleasure centers become more sophisticated with age and experience, not less responsive. But here's the statistic that will shock you. 73% of women aged 60 to 75 who remain sexually active report that they understand their own bodies better than they ever did in their 20s or 30s. This self-knowledge, combined with freedom from pregnancy concerns and often reduced life stress, creates conditions for enhanced rather than diminished pleasure. I knew a woman named Eleanor who, at 67, experienced what she called her intimate awakening after decades of mediocre experiences. I spent 40 years thinking something was wrong with me because I rarely reached satisfaction, she shared. It wasn't until I learned that only 18% of women climax from intercourse alone that I realized the problem wasn't my body. It was everyone's limited understanding of how women actually experience pleasure. The ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus taught that nothing is permanent except change. The change that occurs in our intimate capacity after 60 is often positive transformation rather than inevitable decline. We develop what researchers call embodied wisdom, a deep understanding of our own responses that can lead to more fulfilling experiences than we ever imagined possible. Maya Angelou captured this beautifully. There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. Part of our untold story as women over 60 is that our intimate lives often flourish when we finally understand and honor our authentic needs. Truth number 2. Most of what you've been told about physical changes is designed to sell you something. The second hidden truth is that much of the doom and gloom messaging about intimate health after 60 is driven by pharmaceutical companies and medical providers who profit from pathologizing normal aspects of aging. Yes, hormonal changes occur after menopause. Approximately 87% of women experience some vaginal changes. But here's what they don't tell you. Only 4% of sexually active women report that these changes make intimacy impossible. The other 83% find that simple solutions, patience, communication, quality lubricants, and longer arousal periods restore comfort and pleasure without expensive medical interventions. The Women's Health Initiative, which studied over 93,000 women, found that those who remained sexually active after menopause experienced fewer bothersome symptoms than those who became inactive. Dr. Susan Kellogg-Spatz's research shows that regular intimate activity actually helps maintain vaginal health. It's a use it or lose it situation, but in reverse from what we're typically told. Margaret, a 72-year-old retired nurse, learned this the hard way. My doctor immediately recommended hormone therapy and warned me that intimacy would become increasingly difficult and painful. I was terrified and avoided all physical connection for 2 years. When I finally saw a more enlightened provider, I learned that most of my problems could have been prevented by staying active and using appropriate, affordable products. I felt angry that fear had stolen 2 years of potential joy from my life. The Roman philosopher Seneca wrote, "Every man is in bondage to fear who depends upon the whims of fortune." We become enslaved to fear when we depend upon medical providers who profit from our insecurities rather than seeking information that empowers our choices. The truth is that adapting to physical changes requires wisdom and patience, not pharmaceutical intervention in most cases. When we understand normal aging processes rather than pathologizing them, we can make informed decisions about what adaptations serve our happiness. Truth number 3. The best sex of your life might still be ahead of you. The third truth that shocks people is that many women experience their most satisfying intimate relationships after 60. This isn't wishful thinking. It's documented reality supported by extensive research. According to the University of Chicago's National Social Life, Health, and Aging Project, 67% of sexually active women over 65 report being extremely or very satisfied with their intimate lives, higher satisfaction rates than many younger demographics report. The Harvard study of adult development found that women who begin intimate relationships after 60 often describe them as more fulfilling than relationships from their youth. Dr. Eli Coleman's research shows that women over 60 engage in what he calls expanded sexual scripts. They explore different types of connection, spend more time on emotional intimacy, and focus on mutual pleasure rather than performance goals. This broader definition of intimacy often leads to more satisfying experiences than the narrow focus on intercourse that dominates younger relationships. Dorothy, a 68-year-old widow who found love at 65, exemplifies this research. "I'd been married for 35 years to a man who never asked what I wanted or needed. When I met Robert, I was terrified of physical intimacy because I thought I was too old and too damaged. Instead, I discovered that this relationship, built on genuine communication and mutual care, has given me pleasures I never knew were possible. I'm experiencing the best intimacy of my life at an age when society told me it should be over." Rainer Maria Rilke wrote, "Perhaps all the dragons in our lives are princesses who are only waiting to see us act just once with beauty and courage. Perhaps the dragon of aging sexuality is actually a princess, waiting to reveal the beauty and courage of mature intimate connection." Have you discovered that some aspects of intimacy improved as you matured? Share your insights in the comments. Your honesty might liberate another woman from limiting beliefs about age and pleasure. Truth number 4, your desires are normal, valid, and statistically common. The fourth truth addresses the shame many women carry about having intimate desires after 60. According to extensive research, your continued interest in physical connection and pleasure is not only normal, it's statistically common and psychologically healthy. The Kinsey Institute's latest research shows that 61% of women aged 61 to 70 think about intimacy at least once a week, and 37% think about it several times a week. Among women 71 to 80, these numbers drop only slightly to 54% and 29% respectively. These statistics demolish the myth that women naturally lose interest in physical connection as they age. More encouraging, research published in the American Journal of Medicine found that women who maintain intimate lives after 60 show better cardiovascular health, improved sleep quality, reduced stress hormones, and stronger immune systems than their completely inactive peers. Dr. Patricia Bloom's longitudinal study demonstrated that sexually active women over 65 have 23% fewer doctor visits for stress-related conditions. But here's the truth that might surprise you most. According to AARP's comprehensive study of 3,500 adults, women over 60 report an average of 17 different motivations for intimate activity: emotional connection, stress relief, physical pleasure, maintaining health, expressing love, and many others. This suggests that mature women have a richer, more complex understanding of intimacy's benefits than younger women, who average only 9 different motivations. Grace, a 74-year-old grandmother, shared her revelation. "I felt so ashamed for still wanting physical affection and pleasure at my age. I thought there was something wrong with me. When I learned that over half of women my age share these desires, and that maintaining an intimate life actually contributes to better health, I realized the problem wasn't my desires, it was the culture that made me feel shame about them." The Buddhist teaching reminds us that when we know better, we do better. Knowing that your desires are normal, healthy, and shared by millions of women your age allows you to pursue what brings you joy without the burden of shame or self-judgment. Carl Jung wrote, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." Perhaps what irritates us most about society's dismissal of mature women's desires can lead us to understand how valuable and legitimate those desires actually are. Truth number 5. The biggest obstacle to intimate satisfaction after 60 isn't physical limitation, it's psychological limitation created by ageist beliefs about what's appropriate, possible, or desirable for mature women. Dr. Rosemary Basson's groundbreaking research on female sexuality reveals that women's intimate responses are far more influenced by mental and emotional factors than by purely physical ones at any age. After 60, this becomes even more pronounced. Women who maintain positive beliefs about their desirability and their right to pleasure experience significantly more satisfaction than those who internalize negative cultural messages. Research from the University of Michigan shows that women over 60 who describe themselves as sexual beings report 89% satisfaction with their intimate lives, while those who see themselves as past that phase report only 34% satisfaction, regardless of their actual physical health or relationship status. The landmark study by Dr. Cindy Meston at the University of Texas found that women who reject ageist stereotypes about sexuality maintain active, intimate lives well into their 80s, while those who accept cultural limitations often become inactive decades earlier than necessary. But here's the most encouraging finding. Women who change their beliefs about aging and sexuality, even after accepting limitations for years, can restore satisfaction and activity levels within months. Dr. Barry McCarthy's research shows that 78% of women who address psychological barriers rather than focusing solely on physical interventions experience dramatic improvements in their intimate lives. Helen, a 71-year-old who had accepted that her intimate life was over, experienced this transformation. At 68, I believed everything I'd been told about aging and desire. I felt invisible, undesirable, and resigned to loneliness. Then I met a group of vibrant women my age who talked openly about their continued desires and active lives. Seeing their confidence and joy made me realize I'd been limiting myself based on other people's narrow definitions of appropriate aging. Within 6 months, I'd completely transformed my self-image and my
life. Marcus Aurelius taught, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within you, in your way of thinking. The way we think about our own desirability, our right to pleasure, and our capacity for intimate connection determines our reality far more than our chronological age or physical changes. What beliefs about aging and intimacy have you had to challenge or change? Share your experience in the comments. Your courage might inspire another woman to question limiting beliefs in her own life.
When we put these 5 truths together, they paint a radically different picture of intimacy after 60 than the one society typically presents. Your capacity for pleasure may be greater now than ever before. Most physical challenges have simple solutions that don't require medical intervention. Your best intimate experiences might still be ahead of you. Your desires are normal, healthy, and statistically common, and the biggest obstacles are beliefs, not biology. These truths should be liberating, not overwhelming. They suggest that if you're feeling unfulfilled or resigned about your intimate life, the solution might be simpler than you think. Changing your mindset, seeking accurate information, communicating your needs clearly, or finding partners who appreciate mature women. The key is approaching this aspect of your life with the same wisdom and intentionality you bring to other important areas. This means being honest about what you want, realistic about what's possible, and courageous enough to pursue what brings you joy despite cultural disapproval. At our age, we have the advantage of knowing ourselves deeply, communicating clearly, and prioritizing what truly matters. These advantages, when applied to our intimate lives, can create experiences that surpass anything we knew in our youth. The deeper truth underlying all these specific insights is that intimacy after 60 represents a fundamental shift from performance to presence, from youth to wisdom, from external validation to internal satisfaction. This isn't a consolation prize for no longer being young. It's a different and often superior form of intimate experience. The ancient Chinese philosophy of Wu Wei teaches about effortless action, the kind of natural flow that comes when we stop fighting reality and start working with it. Applied to mature sexuality, this means stopping the fight against aging and instead discovering the unique gifts that come with experience, self-knowledge, and emotional maturity. As Maya Angelou taught us, a woman in harmony with her spirit is like a river flowing. She goes where she will, without pretense, and arrives at her destination prepared to be herself and only herself. When we achieve harmony with our mature sexuality, we flow naturally toward experiences that honor our authentic needs rather than society's limited expectations. As we conclude this exploration of intimate truths after 60, I hope these revelations have shifted your perspective about what's possible for your own life. These aren't just statistics or theories. They represent the real experiences of thousands of women who refused to accept cultural limitations and instead pursued the intimate fulfillment they deserved. You have the right to pleasure, connection, and satisfaction at any age. You have the wisdom to create intimate experiences that surpass anything from your youth. You have the authority to reject beliefs that limit your possibilities and embrace truths that expand them. If these 5 hidden truths resonated with you, if they challenged assumptions you'd accepted or validated desires you'd questioned, then you're ready to reclaim this vital aspect of your humanity. You're ready to join the growing community of women who refuse to become invisible just because society expects it. The choice is yours. You can continue accepting limitations that aren't based in reality, or you can embrace possibilities that are supported by research and lived by thousands of women your age every day. Dear friends, if this honest conversation about intimate truths opened new possibilities for your own life, please support this space of authentic dialogue by clicking like, subscribe, and turning on the notification bell, so Wise Advice for Elderly can continue sharing insights that honor your complete humanity. Thank you for staying until the end of this important discussion. Wishing you the courage to embrace these truths, the wisdom to apply them to your own life, and the joy that comes from understanding that your desires and satisfaction matter at every age. We'll see you in the next empowering reflection.